What's up, y'all? It's the Average Consumers here with another video. Today we have a clip from Fresh and Fit podcast. Shout out to them. And it's titled "Should Men Ram Through Women?" with Sterling Cooper and the Rational Male.
What's RAM mean? Is that an acronym, or does it just mean like run through?
I'm assuming run through.
Okay.
Like, cause the thumbnail was like, does body count matter?
Oh, okay.
So yeah, run through women. So let's get into it.
So for men, does body count matter? Like, I'm saying as like, you know, we're all adults and stuff like that. Like personally, me, I don't ask body count. I don't want to know nothing about your past. I don't want to know nothing about what you did. I don't want to know, like, at all. Like, don't tell me shit. Like, I'd rather just go blind wolf and find out.
Well, Sterling, you guys got this one. I just went on a rant, so you guys go ahead.
I'll go first, Roller. I'll go first. Even if I wanted to know what your body count is, you're never going to tell me your truth.
Facts.
So
there's always a set number.
There's no way I can actually know for real what your body count is, right?
Oh, no.
However, so that's why we use like other social cues as an indicator of your body count. Like I said before, how flaky are you?
Okay.
How respectful are you of my time? How loyal are you after I've had sex with you? Do you stick around? Do you respect my time after the fact? Are you flaunting your ass on Instagram after the fact? Like, are you replying to dudes in your DMs after we've smashed? There's like things we can look for as a guy that tell us if I can take you seriously or not.
Right.
I personally feel like men,
Shirts and stores.
What do y'all think about that? Like, that there's cues that you can pick up on to tell, like, basically, if she's like somebody who would be ran through or not. Because he's saying you'll never know her body count for real. And yeah, with most girls, you probably they'll never tell you.
Now you got multiplied by 3.
Like, I've had a girl tell me her body count. She said she had 25, but even that could have been a lie.
Got multiplied by 3.
So
75.
So yeah, do y'all think that there is cues that you can pick up on though to see if she's like would have a higher body count, or do y'all think that's kind of like
For me, it's all
debatable?
No, I mean, for me, this is all new information, but it does make sense. These sort of the things that he was laying out, like how respectable,
How flirty you are.
How flirty you are. Do you respect my time, or how flaky you are? After we smash, are you posting like very explicit stuff on Instagram or Twitter or whatever?
Yeah.
Those are very good cues to kind of. You never know the true number, but you'll know her nature.
Okay. What about you?
I agree with Wayne.
I feel like shirts and stores.
I feel like merch. Y'all copy it.
Vibing next.
I feel like men, for men that they care about body count. I personally do, because I feel like a woman, like they could get with a man that has 100+ body count and they don't care. They're like, whatever, an experienced man. And I've heard that from multiple women. They're like, whatever, experienced man, whatever, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. But a man, like, you tell them, like, yeah, I have like 15 people. What the fuck? You got 15 people? You've been ran through, you've been this, you've been that. And I really feel like that's not fair for women. Like, men can do whatever, and women, like, are devalued automatically. And I feel like
the guys giving each other that look like, who gonna tell her?
it's because of, by the fact that we are penetrated and not, men like.
Well, life isn't fair. Just
life is clearly, as a woman, it's not fair.
But like, you're trying to compare apples and oranges.
Yeah,
we're different. Like, I don't have some of the advantages in life that you have, and you have some of these advantages I have. I'm stronger than you.
Okay.
But I don't have your beauty, right? You can get
that's for damn sure.
You can. Hey, fuck you.
And
I'm professionally sexy, you bastard. I can't. Like, you can get certain things as a young, attractive woman that I cannot get.
It's a conquest for men to get women, so it's like a prize. But for us to get men, like, you can go outside and find anybody today.
Getting a woman getting sex is like a man lifting up a stone.
Yeah.
It's like it's a heavy rock. All right, done, easy.
Like, so that's why like a man's body count is like a source of pride.
We
for
have
them.
to work for it.
Yep.
Yeah, and they hold it very, like. But for women, it's like you can't really brag about that. It's like someone with high metabolism being skinny.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, and that's
like a skinny guy having abs.
Genetics.
Yeah, you're just like, yeah.
Rello?
Men and women are different. I don't know.
So what do y'all think so far about that? Because I mean, it's like, yeah, I think the one on the right, she understands it very well. Like, a woman having sex is effortless. Like, a woman could hit a guy up today, like, you know how many guys be in women's DMs, like, especially if she's attractive, sending all types of hard eyes. They willing to go broke over this girl, spend their last dollar. So if she's just like, hey, come have sex with me, they're going in a heartbeat. Like, it's that easy. But a guy, you gotta talk game, you gotta maybe spend some money here and there, you gotta, you know, arouse her, do all these things, and still you sometimes might not get it. So it's like, yes, it is a conquest.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, it's like what you said earlier. Men have to work. Men have to become something in order for them to, well, not all men, but men of our caliber have to become something in order to have their pick of the litter.
mm-hmm.
Whereas women, it's just there.
Yeah.
And they just go outside, boom.
Like, even a unattractive girl can have sex easier than a guy that is generally attractive and, you know, whatever. Like, even if you're an attractive guy, you still have to put in some work.
Mm-hmm.
If you've noticed that, this is probably one of the most common questions you field here, and I
on this
field on my
podcast,
channel.
yeah.
You probably.
So I want you guys to
channel
answer
as
instead
well.
of us. We talk about this almost every show.
Men and women are different, and it's time we stop looking at the reason why you think it's not fair. The reason why you think it's not fair is because somewhere along the line, probably when you were much younger, and probably how old are you now?
20.
20. So obviously.
Oh,
Somewhere along the line, whether it was through popular culture, through your learning process, through music, through whatever, it's you've come to the conclusion that men and women are blank slate equals. That they should, like, what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. So if men can go out and have sex as much as they want, then women should be able to go out and do that too. And the problem is men and women are not blank slate equals. They are different different physically, different neurologically, different psychologically.
We broke this down on our podcast, by the way.
Yeah, I talked all about
in detail.
this
Studies are there.
Yeah, go
ahead,
check
Rolo,
it out.
Sorry.
So for men and women, part of those differences is mating strategy. So for women, they tend to be looking for quality. Men tend to be looking for quantity, because it makes more sense, evolutionarily speaking, for men to be able to hit it and quit it, ejaculate and evacuate, get out of there as fast as possible, because in our evolutionary past, that was our best breeding strategy. Women's mating strategy is hypergamy, okay? Alpha fucks, beta bucks, okay? For men, it is unlimited access to unlimited sexuality, because the more children we get with every ejaculate, we can potentially mate with hundreds and thousands of women, really, if you can do that.
Yep.
And so for men tend to be what's called R-selected, meaning that they breed in number, like they spread the seed, right? For women, you can't do that, because you've only got one cell that gets fertilized, and you have the higher investment cost when it comes to reproduction. So you're going to spend 9 months knocked up with a baby, and then you're going to, at least in our evolutionary past, speaking wise, you're going to spend at least 7 or 8 years raising that child from complete helplessness to being able to put food in its mouth, right? So to self-sufficiency before you can have a brother or a sister. Now, usually it happens like 4 years or something, like now, because we have modern medicine and convenience, but that used to be the way it was. Women have a higher threshold for finding the guy who's quality, who's going to exhibit being like very good looking, arousing, the guy you really want to bang, but he's also got to be the guy that has the 3 Ps: protection, provisioning, and parental investment. He has to be the guy that's going to stick around and protect you while you're pregnant, because women are the vulnerable sex. And the reason why they're the vulnerable sex is because they have the higher investment cost when it comes to reproduction. So 9 months knocked up, I need my money, I need to, I need my child support payments, I need you to, help me with the pregnancy, that kind of stuff. That's the parental investment side for this century anyways. So for men, it's R selection. For women, it's K selection, meaning they're looking for quality. They're looking for somebody who's going to stick around. They're going to put investment into into that pregnancy, and hopefully that's the way it's going to work. Now, today in modern times, finding that in the same guy is next to impossible. So that's why cuckoldry comes in, where you can have sex with the hot guy in the foam cannon party. You can get the hot alpha guy, get alpha seed, beta need, right? You mate with one guy, breed with that guy, and then convince the beta
get the sugar daddy to pay you $1,000 a month.
You tell it,
pay your rent.
Again, what is it? Chris Rock says, who tells the bigger lies? Women. It's your baby.
Yeah, that's why. Like what he's saying, it's like we see it all the time when we see a girl will go have a baby by a guy who, the world can see he don't give a fuck about her, but because he's so attractive, he gives her that alpha energy. She's like, I want to have his baby, but he's not gonna stick around. So she convinces the beta guy, who's just so in love with her, oh, this is your kid now, because you're gonna take care of it for the next 18 years.
That's and why is that a joke? Well, we laugh at that because that's the truth of it. Is that makes sense. It has to be, I need that support. Because it's that vulnerability. It's not that you're thinking of that when you see the hot guy in the club and you go, man, I really want to fuck that guy. It's not about, you're not thinking, oh, I want to reproduce with him and have like children, and you're not thinking that far ahead. Yeah. That's the proximate cause versus the ultimate cause.
See, and I like what he said right there about she's not thinking about it, because oftentimes, people will watch content in this space and they'll feel like, oh, women are just so evil, like they have such evil intent. But the thing is, and I say this often, like anything that I was in a situation, if a woman ever disrespected me or did anything that I didn't want her to do, I cannot say that I believe that it was with ill intent. They're not thinking about these things. This is just their natural response to whatever their situation they're in.
What do you mean?
For example,
my fault.
If you're a guy who is the beta, like he's talking about, you prioritize a woman over your purpose. Maybe you don't have a lot going on for you, but you make sure you do whatever you can for the girl. She's like your biggest accomplishment in life. Naturally, it's not ill intent, but naturally she just cannot have that high regard for you because you're not really worth much to her. Like, your purpose has to be bigger than her. And there's a whole lot of other things that go into that, but you kind of get where I'm going with that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like, it's not that it's her ill intent to be like, oh, she's talking to you like you don't matter, or not giving you sex when you want it, or she's not showing you admiration every day, but that's just her natural response. Now, this is not me saying, oh, it's justified for women to disrespect men. I'm just saying that I can somewhat understand where these things come from, because her natural response is that she is going to look at that alpha guy like, oh my gosh, like I want to have his kid because he's just so important for some reason. But the guy that's simping for her, just drooling over her, he's not important to her, because women kind of have a conquest as well. Like, I want to conquer the guy that treats me as not as much of a priority. But the guy who treats me like a priority, I've already conquered him. I didn't have to give him anything. I didn't have to have sex with him. I didn't have to go on a date with him. I didn't have to tell him that I like him. I didn't have to say anything. I didn't even have to compliment him. He's just drooling in my DMs, sending me heart eyes every day. She's already conquered him. But the guy that she sees that energy in, that doesn't pay her no mind, she has to conquer him. So she's gonna throw everything at him. Oh, let me give him the best head. Let me give him the best sex. Let me give him the best everything. I'm gonna cook him the best meals. Give him everything, because she wants him to
validate her.
To validate her, exactly.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Do you think that happens all the time though?
Yeah, it happens all the time.
Proximate cause is the hot guy in the club that you really want to get with. The ultimate cause is you're going to have his kid, you know?
Yep.
And so what are you going to do with that kid once you have him? So the investment is always in your head, whether you're thinking of it or not. Most women and most guys aren't thinking of it either. It's not a conscious cognitive process. It's just you come to it, you cross that bridge when you get to it, sort of thing. So there's the investment costs that go into reproduction. So when we're looking at guys who want to be the guy who's going to stick around, it's they're trading off their mating strategy to accommodate your mating strategy. So why is pornography such a big deal? Why do we have online 4K streaming free pornography right here? I can go get it right now if I want to. Why is it free for me to go and do that? Because it's unlimited access to unlimited sexuality when it comes to pornography. That's what that's catering to.
Mm-hmm.
So when my strategy is I want to get with as many chicks as I can, but I can't because I'm going to have babies with you and till death do us part, and forsaking all others in sickness and in health, and rich or poor, all the marriage vows. If I'm going to promise that means what I'm doing is I'm sacrificing my mating strategy of unlimited access to unlimited, like I could get with a lot of girls, but you're special and I really love you and I really want to have babies with you and we're going to have a life together and you do all that great stuff. I'm sacrificing my mating strategy to accommodate and to consolidate and optimize yours. The only stipulation is, well, you still got to bang me, right? Because I still want to have sex, and if I'm giving up, my mating strategy, I got to have that. But the most important stipulation, the kid has to be my fucking kid.
Bam.
And that's why men,
there's a kicker. That's why your value lowers, ladies, when you have sex with a lot of dudes.
And again, it goes back to the jealousy thing. It goes back to the mate guarding thing. Men have to historically, evolutionarily speaking, have always had to invest themselves and be obsessive compulsive about paternity. So when women say, oh, a real man takes care of other men's kids. No, that's a social convention that's meant to satisfy that optimization, because the guy she had sex with and bred with, is not the guy who's sticking around. So we've got to convince all these 80%ers, we got to convince all these beta males to think they're heroes and they're white knights and they're superheroes. Step up to I'm the dad who stepped up. I'm not the stepdad, right?
Yeah.
So that's the popular meme. That's the popular social convention to get those guys to.
Yeah. Well, what he's saying is definitely facts. And it reminds me of a I think it was a meme I seen the other day. It was like it kind of went viral. It was like if you get with somebody, I think it said like if you marry somebody who has a child with somebody else, then if you don't have a child and you get with somebody who has a child, then you're settling for less. And it was like, oh, is this true or not? But it didn't say like specifically to the gender, but it's really specific to men. If you get with somebody that has a child, you don't have any children, you're settling for less, because basically you're the guy that's supposed to be the superhero because you're taking care of another man's kid, and the man didn't want to commit to this woman and marry her and build a family with her, so he just left her with a kid. Now you got to come there and be the superhero, and women will convince men that they're doing themselves a justice by taking care of somebody else's kid when you're not. But there's gonna be a lot of guys who will go in the comment section and be like, oh nah, y'all wrong for that. Like I even see in the comments, they're like, oh, this is the stupidest thing I ever read, blah blah blah, like because those are the men who fell for the brainwash trick that, oh, you're actually a really great guy if you take care of somebody else's kid. Like, don't get me wrong, it doesn't make you a bad guy, but it's just that if you had options, like if you really had options, you would not be choosing the woman that already has a kid by another man. True. If you had an option of a woman who didn't.
I also like to compare human beings to other animals, because at the end of the day, every animal and human, their goal is just to reproduce, right? And I always find it's interesting with lions, right? So male lions, when they come into like a group of female lions, if they have kids, if they have pups, right, or cubs, not pups. If they have cubs, the male lions will kill them. Kill the cubs.
Yeah.
Obviously, they'll keep the female lions, and then they'll reproduce with them.
Right.
That's kind of like the same thing with human beings. Obviously, we can't kill someone's kids,
Right.
but we don't want to be with someone who has kids.
Exactly. You want your own DNA.
Yeah.
I want to look at my own DNA. That's why, like, I was in a relationship, right? And I remember my girl saying that she wanted to have kids, but then she said something like she wanted to adopt as well. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. If you have the ability to have children, we're just going to have our own children. Why would we adopt somebody else's kid? I'm not trying to take care of somebody else's kid. And she tried to make me feel bad for saying that. Like, oh, you're wrong for that, blah, blah, blah. Like, these people don't have families or whatever. That's not my problem. I'm sorry. Like, that's just the truth. Why, if I have the ability, if God blessed me with the ability to have my own children, I'm going to go pick up somebody else's children? How does that make sense? But yeah, that's what it is. Like, the cub thing is very, very important. I don't think people think about that. Like, no, the lion does not want to take care of another lion's kids. You want to see your own DNA. Because the kids, when you look at the kid, it's going to remind you of another man. Because it's not yours. I don't want to think about no other man.
All these men who compare themselves to lions and wolves, and then what do? They get in relationship with women with kids. It's just like, pick a different animal.
Optimize to the alphas you had sex with, that you're having the babies, he's still sticking to his sexual strategy and nailing other chicks. It's the beta cuck, the blue pill guy that says, okay, baby, I'll be happy to step in and I'll help you take care of the kids. And suddenly he's the noble soul for having done that.
Yep.
And that's part of the mating mechanics of what we have right now. But for me to accommodate and to optimize a woman's mating strategy, I have to sacrifice my own. That's what I call the cardinal rule of mating strategies. For one sex to optimize their mating strategy, the other one has to compromise or abandon it.
Bam.
So when, like today, it's usually abandonment for men.
Yep.
Like men have to say, okay, forget it. I'm just going to stick with this one girl because that's their only option.
Yep.
They're not a porn star, man. They can't go and knock it out with a whole bunch of girls. So what they do is they fixate and say, okay, monogamy. This is my best shot at reproducing.
Mm-hmm.
And so even if I got to take care of some other guy's kid, the chances are that somewhere along the line, she's going to have my kid too. And it becomes the new form of a mating strategy for beta males. So that's why when women say, well, you're a superhero for knocking it out with a bunch of guys.
Man, that's crazy, because it's kind of sad when you think about it. Like he was saying, like the guy's thinking like, okay, well, if I take care of her kid, maybe eventually down the line she'll have a kid for me. But a lot of those women who have the kid by the guy that wasn't going to stick around and get the new guy to take care of it, they don't really have plans. Like, a lot of them don't have plans of having more children. Mm-hmm. Because they feel like, oh, guys just leave when they impregnate you, So it's like, you're hoping that you might get a kid from her, and you probably might never get that. That's kind of sad. I ain't gonna lie. But no sympathy here. He's like, nah. Because, at the end of the day, you're choosing to be with that woman. Now, I get it. He's saying, this is the mechanics now. Like, I guess if you're an average guy, whatever, that's what you have to settle for sometimes. So, it's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's sticking to his mating strategy and not accommodating your mating strategy, while at the same time, when women are, slut shamed or they you're loose for that. The reason it's not that you're loose or you're a slut, it's you're a bad bet for paternity.
Yeah.
You're a bad bet for me saying that might not be my kid. And even if we have DNA testing and everything else, my evolutionary psychology, my lizard brain, my hindbrain still says, yeah, she's the town bicycle, and everybody gets a shot at it right there. And I don't know that if the kid's going to be mine or it's not going to be mine, even if that's not the cognitive thing that you're thinking. It's what your hindbrain is thinking.
Damn.
Can I?
Somebody clip that, please.
Yeah, that was probably one of the best explanations of why men can have sex with a lot of girls and women can have sex with a lot of dudes. At least when it comes to like.
Well, and then the other
biology.
The other part of that is that men can separate their emotions from the sex act, whereas women, because of their mating strategy, have to invest emotions in that guy. You're going to stick around, right? You're going to be there for me. You're going to be there right now.
Yeah.
Now you're going to argue with me and say, well, it's no, today women are less repressed. They're more sexually open. They got OnlyFans. They can do this. Yeah, but right up until about 1965, when hormonal birth control got invented, that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
And so now we're kind of like, for the last 60
pushing back
years,
the clock a bit.
for the last 60 years, all bets are off. Hypergamy is unfettered right now, and here we are, 2021, and this is the result of it.
He is the author of The Rational Male, guys.
There you
Get
go.
the book, and he
Very
breaks
good
this
book.
down in far more detail as to male and female sexuality and the differences there.
Well, that's the end of the video right there. I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I couldn't have explained that any better myself. Like that was a really good explanation, and I don't really like to give a lot of credit to certain oppressors, but I mean, you gotta give credit where it's due. He explained that very well. I don't think that there's any way that you can take that and like misconstrue it and misunderstand what he's saying. It's very clear cut.
Somebody will find a way, but also he's been Rollo Tomasi. He's been doing this for a while now.
Oh, you know who he is?
I know his name. I've seen him he's been on Fresh and Fit a few times, so I've definitely seen him. But he's obviously been doing this for a while now, and you could tell he puts in the time to do the research. I mean, this is what his brand is built on anyway.
Yeah.
So like, he did the whole biology thing.
Shout out to that guy, the Rational Male, and Sterling Cooper. And shout out to the women on the cast. I mean, usually when I do catch clips of Fresh and Fit, it's like a bunch of like, chicks like trying to argue, and be loud, and just talk over people, not listening to understand. And I think
he brought in science. I mean, yes, the women that they have on this one, they weren't combative, but he brought in science. It's very hard to argue science.
Girls try to argue science.
They can try, but
they'll argue anything, bro.
They'll just fail. But at the same time, it's just like you can't. I mean, if you want to argue facts, it's whatever. But.
Yeah. So, final thoughts.
I mean, he laid it out. I think both of them, Sterling Cooper and Rollo, did a really good job with explaining it. I mean, now.
How did you feel about the white man saying life's not fair?
I didn't care about it. It's just like, but Myron and Fresh, they say this all the time, but the women never get it.
I'm telling you, bro. Yo, this confirms my theory. I was saying like, who do women want to listen to? It's white men.
Yeah.
It's white men. They'll only listen to white men. And I mean, hey, they explained it pretty well. So I mean, I'm not mad at it, but
it's not
that's just what it is.
But it's not like Myron and Fresh don't explain it well. They won't even bring in the science to it. Well, not that much science. They'll just talk about it in a dumbed down way. That way, all of the women on the cast can understand it.
Yeah.
But they just choose not to.
Yeah. I guess they'd rather hear you say words like evolutionary and the consolidation and
I do think it's because they're white, but I also think like Sterling Cooper has a British accent, so you know how American women are when it comes to that.
Look at his image. Look at the way he's sitting down. He's like the movie star guy, like. But yeah. So really good video. Let us know in the comment section below what y'all think about this topic. Why body counts matter? Does body count matter to you?
No.
I guess we can end on. Okay, so you say no. Does body count matter to y'all?
Body count matters to me. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Even though, of course, we're not asking women necessarily what is their body count. Like, we're not meeting women and saying, "Oh, hey, what's your body count?"
Don't do that.
You know what I'm saying? We're not doing that, but like Sterling Cooper was saying, there is cues that you can pick up on. Like, she like for example, if you meet a girl, and let's say you're, you know, treating her fairly nice, like a gentleman, whatever, and she's like, damn, I've never been treated like this before. Like, I'm used to dickheads and guys who are just whatever. That's a red flag. That means run away from her because she is not a wife. She's not, because a woman who is a wife, like shout out to Kevin Samuels. He said all the time, like, guys will be like, especially if she's a attractive woman, guys are like rushing to grab them and take them off the scene. If she's really a wife and she's beautiful and all these things, she's gonna be in relationships. But if you're a woman that's just getting ran through, whatever, that means you don't have wife qualities. You're just good for the moment. You look great for the moment. You know, so yeah, I do think that the cues thing is important, because really, yeah, you'll never know. It don't matter how comfortable you make a woman feel or anything like that. She'll probably never tell you the true number, unless it's probably really low. Like, maybe she only got 3 bodies for real.
But you can never really trust it. At the end of the day, even as a guy, you can never really trust it. Even if she says, like, because it's just like, if she says something that's low, like 2, it's like, she's lying. But then if she says something high, like 50, then it's just like, it's probably more.
I mean, I don't know. I've trusted some girls in their answers. Like, I mean, cause you gotta look at like age and like how long they've been on the scene type shit. Like, like, you know what I'm saying? At a point in time, I was talking to 19-year-old. I think she was 18 going on 19, and she. And mind you, this is in the past, so this isn't like currently. I'm 24 now, but she told me that she had 3, and I was the 4th. So I mean, that's like, I can believe that, because I mean, she just turned 19, so she hasn't been on the scene that long. I mean, generally speaking.
Yeah, but in like 10 years.
I mean, it's that's what I'm saying. Like, there's certain factors that can make it, like, you know, believable at least. So, but yeah, so good video. Let us know how y'all feel about it. Definitely share the video. Check out the original video. We'll put the link in the description, and we'll see you guys next video.